Hey guys, welcome back to MMA Library. Today in MMA and UFC news, Tony Ferguson recently said that Khamzat Chimaev purposely missed weight against Nate Diaz last weekend. Here's what Ferguson had to say about the situation. Well, we didn't have the president calling Dana and Dana saying, "Hey, are you in, kid?" But when it went down to it, it was kind of like a reminder of the pandemic. You know what I mean? You've got two Russians, like Nate said. You've got Khabib, who ran away from me at UFC 209, and at the last one, I forgot which number it was like a whole bunch of them, right? And then you have Khamzat purposely missing weight. I'm gonna be real, like starting all that, it could have been a facade. Dana White recently spoke on a theory that's been circulating the internet about the UFC telling Khamzat to stop cutting weight so he could switch opponents. After hearing that it wasn't Pat Miletich, but Brendan Shaub that said it, here's what Dana said.
And Khamzat came in on weight. I mean, when he landed here, he was lighter than he was his last fight, and he made weight. So I heard this thing today, and again, I don't know how true it is or whatever, that like Pat Miletich was saying that this thing was, we told Khamzat not to make weight because we weren't selling tickets and we weren't. Show was sold out going into that day of the weigh-ins. I don't know if Pat really said that, but if he did, he has to be the dumbest on the planet. I mean, you know how stupid you have to be to even think something like that, let alone say it publicly and act like you're serious. We're regulated by the Athletic Commission. And if you think that we told Khamzat Chimaev to not make weight, then Khamzat shows up and the fans are all pissed off at him and stuff, and he's going to just, I mean, and knowing, if you know anything about the sport, this is a guy that was actually in the sport, training and fighting and everything else. If Pat really said that, it's holy. We might have to send him out to the clinic here, the brain clinic, get him checked out. All right, buddy. Done with me?
I believe that was Brendan Shaub who said that.
It was what?
Brendan Shaub, who made up that conspiracy.
Oh, it wasn't Pat Miletich?
I think so.
Well, I apologize to Pat Miletich then. That makes sense. Bye.
In a recent interview with the Schmo, Anderson Silva talks about his upcoming fight against Jake Paul and states that he squashed his beef with Chael Sonnen. Here's a clip.
Chael Sonnen never accepted the barbecue, man. Do you think you and him are eventually going to do this barbecue?
Yeah, absolutely. I asked him to Chael come. You know, I say, Chael, you need to come. Why? Because the people think me and you is hate each other, but it's not. It's my friend.
No beef, just eat beef together now.
Yeah. Yeah, I go make the barbecue for Chael.
Certainly. Now you've seen Jake Paul, man. The Schmo knows you're going to be studying his former boxing bouts. He's gotten a lot of trash talk with his opponents, but you're a true martial artist, man. You're respectful to your opponents. Do you see Jake Paul just being very calm and subdued throughout the entire process leading up to the fight?
Yeah, Jake is so amazing, you know, and I think this fight open the doors for the new generation, you know, because it's two different generations come together and make a good show for everybody, you know. I'm so excited. I'm so happy.
What'd you make of Nate Diaz's performance over there, UFC 279 final fight, UFC contract? Nate Diaz going off on the wind on his terms.
Listen, Nate and your brother is so amazing. You know, both is amazing fighters, amazing guys, and both can do anything now. You know, anything. I think when you have a control in your personal life, you have control about your career, you can do anything. I think that the both can do anything. The guys is so amazing.
During a recent video, Israel Adesanya reacts to Khamzat Chimaev's win over Kevin Holland. Here's what Adesanya had to say. That was crazy. What's his name? Khamzat? Shout out to Kevin. He held a good account of himself, scrambling, sticking to the position. But Khamzat was just a step ahead, 2 steps ahead even. But he missed weight, so forget him. Michael Bisping had this to say about Nate Diaz's future during BT Sports UFC 279 fight preview show.
Mixed martial arts history. I was trying to think of people going into free agency, Mike, off the back of the run in the UFC and what that could then become for them.
Yeah.
If we'd have had the Khamzat fight, this could be a very, very different conversation right now. But given the way that has played out, the MMA gods shining down on the Stockton on the Stockton boy himself. He now goes into MMA free agency with so many options available to him.
And none as lucrative as the UFC. Let's be honest, right? There's a popular narrative that people like to trash the UFC, say they don't pay their fighters very well. You never hear Nate Diaz complain about his compensation. You know, the guys at the top of the food chain, the big players, they're making a lot of money. What is he going to do? What are we talking? ONE FC? Bellator? Boxing? Seriously? What, you're going to go over and fight some of the best boxers on the planet, as you just said, Nick? No disrespect to Nate. He's a great mixed martial artist. Singularly alone in boxing, he's not going to have any success. Yes, he has a name. Yes, he could go and fight Jake Paul, but that's a one-off event. You know, and Jake Paul, I think would probably take him anyway. But still, regardless, I think a lot of people would pay to see that. And then after that, what is he going to do? It wouldn't surprise me if we see Nate Diaz re-signing with the UFC. Of course, he's got a brand. He's got a big name. He's very famous. There's more to him than just striking. He's got great jiu-jitsu, you know. So there's a lot of avenues. If some smart people get involved and they speak to some promoters, they could come up with some fun concepts. Maybe do a bit of bare knuckle boxing. But most of the things I'm talking about here is what people do when they're retired and they don't have many other options. The biggest game in town is the UFC. It's as simple as that.
What do you guys think about Bisping's comments? Is Nate making the wrong decision to leave the UFC? Let us know your opinion in the comment section below. In a recent interview, Khamzat Chimaev said that he isn't planning to fight with Robert Whittaker, and that if Robert was interested, they could train together in the future. Here's what Whittaker had to say about Khamzat's comments.
I'm going to read a quote here. I'm not going to do an impression of Chimaev. I don't want to butcher it here, but he says, in regards to you, he says, I like that guy, so I don't want to fight good guys. I need some bad guys, so I want to fight some bad guys. He then went on to say that he's a fan of yours and he wants to train with you. Your reaction, Rob, you've won him over.
Yeah, that's yeah, I'm happy with that. Chimaev's a you know, his personality is just what you see is what you get. He's wild, but he's a phenomenal fighter, you know. And I like his approach on hunting bad guys. You know, it's yeah, I don't know. He's just. Yeah, that I was really impressed with that Holland fight, and yeah, I'm very interested in seeing where he goes with it.
Do you take that as a compliment, though, that he wants to train with you and work with you as opposed to wanting to fight you?
Definitely. You know, it is a compliment. So I'll definitely take it. I'd like to work with him because anyone that can implement game plans the way he has, and obviously his wrestling and grappling is top tier. He's trained with the likes of Till as well, and. Yeah, you know, one day, hopefully our paths cross and we can get some good work together.
Paulo Costa met with Jingliang after UFC 279 last weekend.
Show you all fit. Show now you want fit for everybody here. Everybody, look at this guy. His style is the best.
In a recent interview, Strickland speaks about a small injury he's picked up, as well as a potential fight against Cannonier.
I heard, though, that you busted your finger on Johnny Evelyn.
Yeah, I was sparring Cooper Labra like 3 weeks ago, now 5 weeks ago, and I hit his tooth. He had a mouthpiece on, opened me up, and then had a massive infection. So yeah, here we are. I can almost close my hand. We're about this far. I probably need about 2 more weeks. I cut my glove, so we'll be people up today with one hand. Everybody, taking them all out. Sadhu Sai, everybody, Max, everybody, taking them all out.
Well, the Schmo was telling me he was really impressed because after that happened to your finger, you interviewed with him and didn't even realize that happened?
Well, in all fairness, the infection didn't kick in until like 3 hours later. Now, maybe later I probably would have been a pussy, but at that moment, it didn't really hurt. Maybe later.
The adrenaline rush, right?
Yeah, you know, it's all good. I'm a professional. I don't get adrenaline. I don't feel it. I'm good. All right.
Well, I know all your fans, they're worried because you were going to fight Jared Cannonier next month. Okay, rescheduled to when?
I'm allowed to say this with the UFC. Sometimes they get a little about when he release fights. But we're looking at December 17th at the Apex, 5 rounds. And by the way, Jared, you are a gentleman, sir. You are a classy. I appreciate you that you were understanding. You understood that I had surgery and you prolonged it. Or maybe you just think I'm an easy fight. You're going to f me up. But either way, Jared, I appreciate you, sir. You are a gentleman.
Guys, thanks so much for checking out the video. If you like the content we do here on this channel, don't forget to like and subscribe to MMA Library for all the latest MMA and UFC news. We'll see you in the next video.